Well, ladies and gentlemen, now that I've had the chance to play quite a few games here in the early access, there's been one recurring pattern that I've noticed as it pertains to the victor of said games. There is one unit, or I should say one particular mount-in option that is very problematic, and I don't normally call things just straight up overpowered or broken, but this actually is. So here you are seeing the majestic beast, the Wargor, who's going to be riding atop the Tuskgor chariot. So the Tuskgor chariot, of course, is a new multi-model chariot unit here for the Beastmen, but it is also a mount option available to the standard Beastmen characters like the Wargor, the Great Brave Shaman, all that sort of good stuff. So you guys probably remember way back when the High Elves used to have nobles on chariots that were pretty busted, right? You'd be seeing the nobles on chariots going fisticuffs with dragons and other monsters and defeating them. Well, this is on a whole nother level. These guys are absolutely insane. So I have a couple video clips I'm going to be showing you here from some tests I did. And essentially, these Wargor chariots have transcended reality. They have ascended to the ultimate big chungus status. They can defeat the mightiest that the old world has to offer. Torox, eat your heart out, man. Oxyotl, I'm sorry, man. These guys are going to be taking the cake. So I'm going to be loading in and showing you some crazy stuff here in just a second. So just take note, right? They have good general armor piercing, pretty massive armor piercing values, which is a big factor. But there's also other variables like splash damage, and on chariots, it's often weird because there can be like multiple hitboxes. There's the character attacking and the chariot, and sometimes if they both attack too effectively, it can lead to like a really broken thing. And from a multiplayer perspective, you can essentially just cut them down like this. And for 900 gold, you are getting the absolute destroyer of worlds. And in campaign right now, as it currently stands, hopefully it'll get changed. Hopefully somebody out there will see it and make this change. But if you brought like a 20 stack or a 19 stack of Wargors on chariots, geared them up with items and campaign buffs, they would be ludicrous. And it's not because of like the unit itself, it's because of the functionality and the way it attacks and its splash damage. But anyways, enough rambling. This shit is OP. Let's load in and show you. First test is going to be the Wargors against Blood Knights. So you would think Blood Knights are like the hard counter, right? They don't have the craziest AP, but Wargors only have 80 armor, right? So they should go down quickly. Typically, the formula is that chariots should absolutely destroy infantry. That's kind of the whole style of them. But should they be good against heavy cavalry that are large entity size? Should they be good against SEMs? And how truly effective should they be against high mass infantry? Well, here we have 3 Blood Knights. The Blood Knights, I believe, cost 1,700 apiece. So in total, you're getting a lot. This is exponentially more gold. We right here have an 1,800 gold investment. This is like over 4,000 gold. So you're going to see something pretty crazy here. So we send in our characters. We do also have the Beast Lord who is riding that chariot as well. So in total, we're like just over 2,000 gold value against something that should hard counter you. So notice the amount of damage that the Blood Knights take on impact. It is absurd. I was casting a couple games earlier between some gentlemen for the ECL action, and I just noticed this. I was like, oh my God, these chariots are just absolutely destroying everything. So the Blood Knight's getting Shrek'd, right? And you're like, okay, maybe there's more. The chariots are starting to take a little bit of damage, but just watch this on fast forward. The Blood Knights get absolutely massacred. As a matter of fact, this Beastman chariot squad probably could have taken another 1 or 2 Blood Knights in total. And they're just cackling all the way to the bank, man. Now they're going to go run over this poor Necromancer here. But that's case number 1. And this goes against Demogryph Knights. This goes against Knights of the Blazing Sun. It's not just Blood Knights. And they kill and do so much burst damage on impact and just buzzsaw through things that they have no business beating. A Blood Knight, a single Blood Knight, in theory, against like a chariot type character, should be able to... I can see all 3 of these characters beating 1 Blood Knight, right? Like, they still have good AP, but like taking out that many Blood Knights, crazy stuff. All right, guys, here's the next showcase. All right, so Kholek is often used as like the benchmark for like good dueling characters, right? Like there's very few people in the old world that can go fisticuffs and fight Kholek. Like for example, if you put Torox against them, Torox is going to just get destroyed. So here we have the 2 Wargors, each of which do have their items and basic abilities, so they're a little bit pricier, but even if you brought them bare bones, it would be fine. So they're going to be charging in here. Just notice Kholek's health and how this battle goes. The 2 chariots do make impacts with Kholek, and look how much he's like taking double chunks of damage. It's insane, and he is getting burned down, and he hasn't even had the chance to really retaliate yet. I did run this test multiple times just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, and every single time something similar more or less happened. Like in some of the other tests, Kholek, for example, might have gotten one down to like half health at this point. He just hit that one right there, but Kholek is just getting straight up done dirty by the mighty Wargors. The Chaos Gods, for once, are, on the Beastman side, as the Mountain God just gets absolutely run over by the Wargor chariots. And again, this works with Brave Shaman. It's not just Wargors. I should mainly say the SEM variants of the Tuskgor chariots. And it's not the elite one, it's the basic variant. All right, so one more test to show you guys against Black Orcs, which is something they should be good against, but there's something a little bit off about the damage. So here's the next test. We have the 2 chariot characters, the Wargors, against 3 Black Orcs, one of which is Crimson Killis. These guys are, 3,000 gold plus value against about 1,800 gold value on the Gores, plus we do also have the Night Goblin Shaman. Now, this is something they should be good against. This is something they should be able to mow down pretty effectively. In this patch as well, when we get the patch notes, we'll be able to see a little bit more clearly, but basically the mass of chariots has been improved. So chariots are once again very effective, but it's not necessarily their mass. I'm totally okay with a massive chariot running through some infantry, but the amount of damage it does is just pretty crazy. So here it comes against the Crimson Killers, and here's the impact damage, right? So they get in there, their splash attacks, they really add up quick. Like a single impact brings them down like 15%, and I didn't even say the course. You'll notice they charge in, they charge across these ones. Look at the burst damage on that second one. That is just so good. They get into the third one. I mean, these guys could basically solo probably like 10 black orcs. If you microed really intensively and weren't lazy about it, you could probably take down like, you know, just an unlimited herd of these black orcs, right? And then I just charge in, get a little bit reckless, but they're just so damn efficient at cleaving through these units, and they're also great against foot-based characters. If we were to get these two against like Sigvald, for example, they would absolutely cut them to pieces, which makes sense because he's infantry-based, but that effectiveness seems a little bit like there's actually a mechanical issue. I don't think this was obvious. This obviously wasn't done intentionally or anything like that. It's just, you know, when you make these new characters and chariots and they have like different hitboxes and attack boxes, things can get screwed up. And at the end of the day, I thought that was something that happened. So if you guys are, of course, seeing replays on the channel, unfortunately, a lot of the early access replays I did were with these guys. So there are going to be some replays that at the time we didn't really realize it until we started looking back at replays and being like, wait a second, that guy just got 3,000 gold value. You know, like, how did that happen? But yeah, so anyways, just wanted to share that with you guys. This guy rocking it out with the mighty 69 kills here, and yeah, 1,600 and 1,700, and they could have kept going. You could have a full like 20 stack, and they'd probably have a chance with proper micro and control, because their mass changes in conjunction with the hitboxes is very, very powerful. So anyways, my friends, hopefully you enjoyed that. There is the dreaded aspects of the DLC. These are the true terrors in the night. But I'm sure CA will hopefully see this, and they can make that change before all this business gets into multiplayer. And in campaign, yeah, like in campaign, you know, campaign's campaign. You have fun with it, and they'll go crazy. But yeah, I think even for campaign's sake, like they're probably a little bit overtuned, right? But you know, for those meme videos where you get like 19 of these bad boys, I know Okoy's ready to party. They are going to do some serious work. So, anyways, my friends, take care of yourself, stay safe, and all hail the war gore on the Tuskgor chariot.